going to do some super beginner yoga. If you have a block, which I doubt that you have, get it. If you don't have it, go grab a big book, like one of the hardcover Harry Potter books, maybe 2 of them. You can get a pillow. I got 2 blocks. And we'll start lying on our backs. So finding your way down, take your feet a little bit wider than the fronts of your hips and let your knees drop in. Palms facing up, close your eyes. We'll take a couple of breaths here. Try to lengthen through your spine, so untuck your shoulders. Then you're going to take one hand to your belly, one hand to your chest. And we're going to start to bring ourselves into a yogi breath. So breathing in and out through your nose if you can. Take a deep inhale, fill up through the bottom of your lungs first, lifting your hand that's on your belly. And then move that air all the way up until you filled all the way to your collarbones, lifting the hand on your chest. When you're ready to exhale, pull your navel back, pull in through your sides, let the air leave from the bottom up. So exhaling, your belly hand will lower first and then the hand on your chest. Just taking a couple of breaths like this, try to relax your face, your jaw. If you have your arms lifted, you can bring the backs of the triceps onto the floor. So if you have your eyes closed, go ahead and blink them open. We're going to take the right knee into the chest, hugging it in tight. You can extend the left leg long if it feels okay, but if it's too much pressure on the front of your hip, you can keep the leg bent. And then just move that right knee side to side. And then take your hands from your shin to the back of your leg and lengthen that leg up. Reach your heel towards the ceiling. As you exhale, lower down. So when you reach that leg up, notice if you start to roll off of your hips, try to keep both hips down. Just straightening and bending. Pulling your toes back towards your shin. If you get this leg straight and it doesn't feel like much of a stretch, you can extend the opposite leg long. It'll make it harder. This time holding the leg up, start to point and flex the toes. And then bending that right knee, take your right ankle across the left thigh. Just let this right knee fold or fall open. Try to keep that long breath even here. So inhaling down to your belly first and then up to your chest. On your next inhale, bring that knee back into your chest. Extend the left leg long. Take your left hand outside of the right knee and bring that knee across. So you want to bring it all the way down to the floor and then use your left shoulder, or no, your right shoulder, to reach back. If your arm is hanging behind you, just take your hand to your low back. Bring yourself into a nice, easy twist. On your inhale, come all the way back to center. Take that right leg down, we'll switch to the left. So knee into the chest first, just like on the other side. If you like to have your leg long, you can. But maybe keeping it bent to start off with, moving this knee side to side. Just seeing where you feel differences compared to the other hip. And then moving your hand to the back of your thigh, start to lengthen that foot up towards the ceiling. Exhale as you bend. Inhaling to lengthen and exhaling to bend. Maybe you can get it a little bit straighter each time. Try to keep those toes pulling back towards you so your heels are really reaching up. This next time you have your leg extended, point your toe and then flex it back. And then bending at the knee. Take your ankle across the other leg. Just let this knee drop out. You can put your hand on it to press a little bit more pressure into it. Long, slow inhales and exhales. On your next exhale, take that knee back to center, extend your right leg long, right hand to the outside of the left hip. Just guide yourself over so that the knee is all the way on the ground, and then you can reach your left arm back, or if it's hanging and uncomfortable, just take the hand to your low back or to your hip. On your next inhale, make your way back to center. Take both knees into the chest, giving yourself a hug. You can take the hands on tops of the knees, draw some circles, bringing the knees away from each other like you're doing the breaststroke. And then make those circles the opposite direction. And then we'll come to center. Start to rock forward and back on your mat if you can. Take a couple of rocks. Eventually coming all the way up to seated. Cross leg if it feels okay. So if cross leg doesn't feel okay, take a pillow or a block or a book or whatever, and you're just gonna sit on the edge of it so that your hips have a little bit more space to open. If that still doesn't feel great, take 2 more pillows, put them under your knees so that it's like this. They're being supported. And we're gonna take a deep inhale, reach really tall as you exhale, using just your shoulders. Turn to the left, let your right arm relax down. Left arm's just gonna come behind your back, coming to your low back or maybe around to your thigh. Lengthen really tall again. Relax your shoulders. And then don't use your arm to crank you over. Use that left shoulder and just gently guide it behind you, maybe looking back. Inhaling tall, pull in everything around your spine. On your inhale, reach all the way up to center, lengthen really tall, and then we're going to turn to the other side. So coming over, maybe bringing that backhand to your low back or around to your thigh, lengthen really tall, and then use your right shoulder to guide yourself back rather than pulling yourself with your arm. Inhale all the way back up, and exhale, just fold down in front of you. So hands can come just into the floor. Maybe you can walk them out. Maybe your forearms want to reach down. Just come to wherever feels good. So it can be just here if that's enough for you. When you're ready, coming up, we're going to change the cross in our legs if it feels okay. Lengthen up really tall. Take your left hand down to the floor and reach your right arm over. When you get here, if you can relax both shoulders and then start to turn your chest up towards the ceiling. Inhale, coming all the way up, lengthen tall, and then exhale over to the other side. Leaning over, relax the shoulders away from the ears, turn your chest up towards the ceiling. On your inhale, come all the way up, reaching high. As you exhale, take the hands down, folding forward. Try to bring your chest forward rather than your head down. Just bringing your chest as far as feels good. And then coming all the way up, and we're going to come to all fours. So finding your way here, you want your shoulder right over your wrist and your knees right underneath your hips. So if you have a mirror that you can look at that. If you have somebody with you, have them check and make sure that you have yourself situated that way, or you can take your phone, take a picture of yourself, see what you need to change. And then we'll start to move through cat and cow. So tailbone's gonna lift up, your chest is gonna reach forward. You can look towards the ceiling, inhale really deep. When you're ready to exhale, press your upper back towards the ceiling, pull your navel in. Inhale, chest forward, looking up. Exhale, press everything away. One more time. Exhale, press it away. And then make your way back to center. You're gonna move your hands forward, just one handprint. Turn your elbows so that the elbow pit's pointing forward, your elbows are coming back, and you're just gonna exhale, lower your elbows down, tilt your tailbone up, arch the back, and then lift off of your forearms, press your chin down to your chest, and then come back down. Couple more like this. Warming up in the shoulders. Last time here. And then keeping your hands lengthened in front of you a little bit, tuck your toes, and we're going to make our way to downward facing dog. So you'll probably find that you're over here. So if you look, you'll see my shoulders are reaching so that they're coming over my wrists. Maybe your legs are straight, but your back is kind of arched. So what you want to do is bend your knees, press into your hands, reaching your chest back towards your thighs. So the spine being long is more important than your legs being straight. So bend your knees as much as you need to so that your wrists have a big angle in them and your shoulders are trying to reach back to your knees rather than coming forward like this, because that's going to hurt your wrists. So lengthen as much as you can.
Bend the knees as much as you need to. If you can straighten one leg and bend the other, pedaling out the legs, maybe that'll feel good. Spread your fingertips really wide. If you're pedaling the legs, come back to center. We're gonna lift up onto our toes really high. Bend your knees deep, send your chest back towards your thighs, and then start to send your heels down. Maybe you can get your legs a little bit straighter. Come back onto your toes, bend really deep. Send your heels towards the floor, maybe not all the way down. Straighten a little bit. One more time. Send the heels down. And then we're gonna come down onto our knees. Send your hips back for a child's pose. So in your child's pose, your knees can be together, really close, lengthening your spine along your thighs. You can bring your arms down by your sides. If your hips are really tight, it might feel better to bring your knees wide, let your belly drop down, and keep your arms extended long. So try to push yourself back so you're bringing your hips back to your heels. You might find that you're a little bit higher. You can take your block onto the floor so that your forehead is on it or your forearms are on it, and try to send your hips back. So we're trying to get our hips back to our heels rather than our face down to the floor. If it feels good, rock side to side here. And then when you're ready, moving back to all fours. We're gonna come into a lunge. So, starting with the right leg, you're just gonna bring the right leg forward. Start to sink in, but you don't want this right knee to come forward in front of your toes. You wanna keep it over your ankle. So walk that foot forward if you need to. Squeeze everything and hold just here. Try to lengthen through your spine. So again, book or block, maybe you want to come up onto it with the one hand, lifting yourself higher. Make sure you're squeezing the glute on your back leg, squeezing your thighs in towards each other. On your next inhale, we're going to shift the weight. Keep your hip right above your knee. Walk this foot forward a little bit if you need to. We want to bring this leg so it's straight. Try to reach your chest towards your toes. So we're not leaning down like this. You have yourself lengthening long. And then when you're ready, take the hands on the inside, just bring that leg back. We'll switch over to the other side. So stepping that left foot forward, squeeze your glute, sink in as far as you can. Try to keep this knee right above your ankle. So walk the front foot forward if you need to, and not hanging in the joints. So you have your muscles squeezing in. Try to lengthen your spine if you can. You can use your book or your block. Still breathing those long, deep inhales and exhales. And then when you're ready, shifting the weight, remember to keep your hips over that back knee, and you can walk the front foot forward, pick your toes up, try to lengthen your center of your chest towards your toes. So we're not bringing the head down, you're bringing the chest forward. Roll the shoulders back. And then when you're ready, take both hands to the inside. Just step that leg back, Send your hips back for a child's pose. Lengthen yourself long. Try to press into your hands if you can, getting your heels back towards your hips back towards your heels. And then when you're ready, we're going to come into downward facing dog again. So coming up to all fours, bring your hands just a little bit forward, tuck your toes, keep your knees bent. If you find that you're here, try to send your chest back, bringing your ears right between your arms. Maybe you find that you can slowly straighten one leg and then the other, not letting it affect what's going on in your upper body. So if you start to straighten and it shifts your shoulders forward, bend the knees, come back into it. So just like before, you can take a photo of yourself, take a look at what's going on. You want to get your spine long, tailbone pointing up towards the ceiling. On your next exhale, bring it back down. Shift your wrists so they're right underneath your shoulders. Flow through cat and cow. Coming back to center, starting with the left leg. You're going to reach it back. Tuck your toes in so they're reaching towards your heel or towards your shin. Turn your hip down so you're not open like this to the side. Hips pointing down. You can reach the opposite arm long. Try to take both arm and leg up towards the ceiling a little bit more. If you're sinking in these shoulders, press into the hand. And then when you're ready, take that hand and knee down. Inhale your chest forward, tailbone up. Exhale, press away. Come back to center and switch to the other side. So right leg reaching back, toes coming towards you, close your hip to the floor, and then your left arm can reach. Try to take them a little bit higher, pressing into the right hand. Your navel is pulling up towards your spine, away from the floor. On your exhale, take that hand down, take the knee down, shift your hips back into child's pose. When you're ready, walk your hands back towards your knees, cross at your ankles, make your way into seated. And then take your feet straight out in front of you. Well, not straight out in front of you, bent in front of you. We're going to come into boat pose. So bringing some strength into your core for this. Roll your shoulders back, take your hands right underneath your knees. Start to tilt back to where you're coming behind your sitting bones and pick your toes up off the floor. So if it feels okay, you can bring your hands or your feet up a little bit. You can release your hands and be taking them back here. Just try to hold wherever feels difficult, so maybe shaking a little bit. Imagine you're putting on a tight pair of pants, so you're pulling your navel back rather than pushing it forward to use your core that way. You want to pull everything in and tight. And then take your feet down, lengthen them out long, move the flesh away from your sitting bones, sit up really tall. Grab hold of your legs wherever you can reach. So we're not gonna fall forward like this. We're not gonna arch through our back. Hands are just gonna come down wherever they reach without putting much effort in. Sit up as tall as you can. And then using your hands, grab hold, bend the elbows, and start to reach your chest towards your feet. So you might only come this far. If your knees start to come off the ground, come up a little bit more. If you wanna come a little bit further, move your hands again. Bend your elbows, sink your chest forward. Holding here, you can bring your chin down, looking at your legs. On your next inhale, walk your hands up a little bit, press yourself up. We're gonna shift the hips all the way forward, make your way onto your back. Find your block or book or whatever it is you're using. Taking your hair out if you have it in a ponytail. So make sure you have space between the back of your neck and the floor. So lift the chin up, like you're trying to point it straight up at the ceiling. Your feet are gonna be hips width apart. Don't bring them too close. You want them underneath your knees or a little bit in front of. We're just gonna press the hips up far enough that you can slide this block underneath. So take a second, find where it's most comfortable, probably where your underwear line is, depending on how high cut your underwear is. And then sink your hips down, just hanging out here. If it feels good and it's okay for your neck, you can bring your arms above your head. So staying here as long as feels good for you. If you want to do something different, it might help to shift the block or book a little bit lower on your booty. Grab hold of the back of it so you're supporting yourself with it, and just pick up 1 foot at a time. Maybe you want to lengthen your feet up towards the ceiling. Maybe you just want to hang out here with the knees dropping towards your chest. Try to find where that block can support you. And then once you get up here, still keeping space between the back of your neck and the floor. You can do whatever you want with your legs. If you want, you can bring the soles of the feet together, maybe hold on to them. You can take your legs up, maybe reach them wide, bringing that or the hands on the outsides of the thighs to support yourself. Or just holding them here. When you're ready, bending 1 foot at a time, bringing them back down. Press into the heels, take that block out. Take your feet wide, just windshield wiper them side to side. And then taking those legs back to center, extend them out long. Bring your arms wherever feels good for you. If you want, you can take your hands back to your hand or back to your belly and your chest, feeling your breath. Staying here for a few minutes just to zone out. And I'll see you later. Goodbye.